In a galaxy far, far away, on a planet called Photonica, there was born a little girl. This girl was very, very special, and she was to be called Phoebe. Photon Phoebe. Phoebe was the product of chemiluminescence, a chemical reaction between some very, very special chemicals, and she was emitted from Photonica at the speed of light. That's very, very fast. As all photons do, she traveled without end until her lonely yet speedy 299,792,458 meters per second journey was interrupted by the biggest, bestest blue planet out there, the planet Earth. It's very, very blue. She landed in Spectreville to be found and quickly, very quickly, adopted by Dr. BP, a biophotonics specialist. At first, Phoebe was like any other little girl. However, in high school, little Phoebe, who was not so little anymore, began to realize she wasn't like every other girl in Spectreville. For one thing, she was always hearing music in her head. At first, she was greatly worried by this development. After all, what normal 15-year-old would tune into Green Day in the middle of algebra? No one knew about this secret. That is until...
My generation is zero. I never made it as a working class hero. 21st century breakdown. I once was lost but never was found.
I'm almost done with the dishes, Dad.
Phoebe, dear,
Yes, Dad.
what were you singing just now?
The new Green Day song.
Could you hear me down the hall, listening to the same song on the radio?
No, Dad.
Then how were you singing the exact right words at the exact right time? Phoebe, I always knew you were a special girl, but I never realized how special.
What do you mean, Dad?
My dear, I believe that you can absorb and then selectively re-emit photons.
What are those?
Photons are particles of light. They are the smallest unit of every type of light, not just light we see.
Is there another kind, Dad?
There are all sorts of kinds. Every type of light is defined by its wavelength. The shorter the wavelength, the greater the energy. Radio waves have a very long wavelength, so their energy is really low. X-rays, on the other hand, have small wavelengths, so their energy is very high.
Oh.
These photons travel through space, and can be absorbed or reflected or even pass through objects. If they pass through, that's called transmission. You, my dear, are able to absorb these photons and then re-emit them at a later time. At least, that's what I think is going on.
Is that why I can hear radio stations?
Exactly. You're absorbing radio waves, and if I'm correct in my thinking, soon you'll be able to pick up other sorts of light waves as well.
But why?
Well, Phoebe, we are all absorbing energy from the sun all the time. As your science teacher at school could probably tell you, the sun emits all different types of radiation. While most people may only be affected by the visible radiation and the ultraviolet radiation, you're probably affected by all different types. And the more you absorb, the more you'll be able to use these different types of radiation.
Wow, Dad, that's pretty neat.
I know, my dear. That's why this is for you. But remember, you must only do good deeds.
Ooh, Dad, I'm so happy we're going to get ice cream. I can almost taste the super sweet butter crunch nougat fudge fizzle already. Mmm.
Indeed, my dear. Nothing like an evening confectionery to elevate one's mood.
Suddenly, this pleasant walk through downtown Spectreville was interrupted by a hideous boom. And then blackness.
Father, what happened? All the light is gone.
I'm not sure, Phoebe.
We are the Anions, and we are here to run Spectreville's periodic bank. There's no way to stop us. First you'd have to see us. But we, being the crafty criminals we are, have used our super secret darkness-inducing machine to make everything dark. Stay put and you will not be hurt. We will even take away this darkness once we are finished with our robbery. No one can catch us now.
Oh, Father, that sounds horrible. Truly, nobody can stop them. They can't be caught.
My dear, if the police cannot see these anions, then they most certainly cannot find them and handcuff them. But wait, Phoebe, I think someone can help.
Who?
You!
Me?
Yes, you. You, my dear, have been absorbing more and more electromagnetic radiation. If you have absorbed enough, you might now be responsive to infrared radiation, which is more powerful and thus more energetic than radio wave radiation.
Infrared?
No, Phoebe, infrared radiation. You could also call it thermal radiation or heat radiation. Night goggles, like they use in the military, use this type of radiation to tell where objects that produce heat are when there is not enough visible light to distinguish their location.
Oh, so maybe if I can interpret infrared radiation, then I can see the robbers, even though it's dark?
Exactly!
Officer, my name is Photon Phoebe, and I can use the power of light to stop these anions. Just follow me, and I'll show you where they are. I can see them, right up ahead. There! Grab! You got one! And to your left. Here, right behind you. Now you got them all.
How is this possible? No one can see us!
I can. I'm Photon Phoebe, and the infrared radiation produced by your body is very visible to me. Now that you are stopped and the periodic bank is safe, I can go eat my super sweet butter crunch nougat fudge fizzle in peace. What a lovely day it is. All the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees. So many beautiful sights to see.
Right you are, Phoebe. My dear, I haven't felt this happy since I first saw a high-powered laser used to reshape the cornea of someone's eye to improve their vision. That was a beautiful use of light, too.